Well, workers at Japan's Fukushima plant say the ground under the facility is cracking and radioactive steam is escaping through the cracks. The cooling system at the plant failed after the devastating tsunami hit Japan in March, sparking a nuclear crisis. But new evidence suggests that Fukushima reactors were doomed to cripple even before the massive wave reached them. Joining me now via broadband is Dr. Robert Jacobs, who's a professor at the Hiroshima Peace Institute. How alarming are these latest reports about steam emerging from the cracks under Fukushima? How serious could this get?
It's a very serious and alarming development because this started to happen specifically after two large earthquakes in the last few weeks. There was a 6.4 earthquake on the 31st of July and a 6.0 earthquake on August 12th. And so what this would indicate is that there may have been some breaking of some of the pipes and some of the structures underground that happened during these earthquakes. And there could be radioactive water that's venting into the soil. And what's more, as cracks are opening, they're making their way, the steam and radioactivity is making its way up. So first of all, this will make it much more difficult for workers to work there because the problem will not be contained within the building and contained within the structure of the reactor vessel. And so it's harder for workers to work in an area in which radiation is emerging from unknown and unsuspected places. And it's an indication that that radioactive material is moving under the ground.
Also, workers say the damage was done when the earthquake struck, not after the tsunami swept through. Shouldn't a facility like this have been much more earthquake-proof, given their regularity in Japan?
Yes. This facility, you may remember, it was designed to withstand an 8-point earthquake, and what we had was a 9-point earthquake. And so these facilities were designed with the best case scenario in mind, and clearly there's much higher earthquakes are possible. Yes, if it's the case that, there's certainly a great deal of evidence that appears to suggest that the first reactor, reactor number 1, was melting down by the time the tsunami hit. So if that's the case, that the reactor was melting down as a result of the earthquake and not as a result of the tsunami, a 9-point earthquake is something that has the potential to happen throughout Japan, and that would put the reliability and the design safety of all of these reactors in question. And just to refer back to that first point about the radioactive steam, there's continuing to be these aftershocks. So when you have a fragile structure that's already suffered a great deal of damage and you have continual aftershocks at the level of 6.0, there's been some even higher. What we have now is we have the radioactive core that has melted down into the basement, into the bottom of the containment vessel of these reactors. And if the radiation level is going down where it's being monitored inside the buildings, and if the water pressure is going down and the temperature is going down, it's not as though the radiation is just suddenly going away. It means that the radioactive material, the melted core, is simply moving further away from where it's being measured. And it may have, as a result of these aftershocks, be moving down out of the building itself. So that may be why we're seeing radioactive steam. And as you can see, earthquakes, even when they happen at a high level, they're not individual events. They're followed by a series of subsequent earthquakes. And so we're seeing now that these reactors were not safe for earthquakes, let alone for tsunamis.
When is enough going to be enough? I mean, if the earthquake structurally compromised the plant and the safety of its nuclear fuel, and now we have this steam, another very hazardous situation, when is it going to be time to close down reactors like these?
Well, in my opinion, now. I think that this has been a clear example of the fact that natural disasters are certainly much stronger than our ability to prepare for them. And there's all kinds of natural disasters that can strike plants. And so these reactors only function well in a perfect world in which things don't go wrong. And that's not the world we live in. So I think we need to question the viability of these reactors as a concept altogether.
All right, Dr. Robert Jacobs, live via broadband with us. Thank you very much for your insight.
Oh, thank you.